So I saw filters before, and as many because I wasn't happy with how it turned out. It was like a 30-minute fucking video. um, there's been some UK news which I think is important to talk about, at least in my situation anyway. It's about the disability cuts, and the mail they haven't looked far into this, but from what I could tell from the random word jerk off articles there are, it seems to be about how they're trying to restrict who can get disability benefits, basically. I think of the specific ones were PIP and something else, I can't remember. But holy shit, this is a bad idea. And this is mainly because you could be doing other things, or you could be taxing the rich, you could be like, cutting back on some things, like stop subsidising animal agriculture, for starters. That's one thing that needs to die. Start subsidising vegan farms, veganic, plant farms, whatever. There's different things you could put the money towards as well, and that's the thing. I think the problem is with benefits, like there are people who take advantage of it. Nobody's actually denying that. And the scumbags that do get found out need to be punished like justly, like having them pay it back. Essentially, because it's literally robbery. And it fucking sucks because people like me would not have a great living situation without it. You know, I just want to have a guitar because that's my hobby, that's my special interest, and it's such a big deal to me. But I won't be able to afford it if the benefits go away. I won't be able to afford to get a fucking guitar for that matter. Like, you don't understand what goes into some things as well, that's the other thing. You know, on the outside, music might seem like a cheap investment. You might think, oh, cheap can be good. Not always. Nope. There are definitely things that are way above. Well, like the things that are expensive can often be very good, but there also can be bad things. But there's also the point that they tend to be better, and if you do your research, it'll be a better investment. I've done this with a bass guitar I want, essentially, and it seems a lot better than the one I currently have. So why would I swap them out, even if it is just a slight difference and something you might not notice? There's a few different reasons. I want to downtune, which you can't do on a bass, and bass strings cost a fucking ton, especially B strings. Like, I think they cost like £10 a fucking piece. It's insane. You know, you're getting piano wire for that essentially. Um, it's, it's very expensive, and I can't really say that it's a waste of money because I do enjoy special interest essentially. But yeah, I've like cutting down on it and stuff. It's not good, and it's affecting all the wrong people essentially because of a few bad apples. It's affecting an entire minority, and this is essentially stage one of a genocide. I'm not exaggerating because this has actually been proven through history. What they do is they take away something. It could be rights, it could be even something like this, where it's like economical. Next you drive them out the homes, next you strip rights. It's all a process, and there's steps to it. And I think there are some actually really informative articles and shorts about this somewhere. I could be wrong. I just learned it from r/LGBT. Tends to be some very interesting facts on there sometimes. But that's where I learned about the genocide stuff essentially, how it starts and where it sort of ends. But yeah, like this is how it starts, and it's not only just for the fact that money's being taken away, it's just the fact that it takes rights away. And I feel attacked in this sense, and that's why I'm speaking out about this. Because I have a right to live my own life in my home the same way someone who works can. Because, yes, I do not work, and I don't consider myself a good worker because I have too many issues. Like, if you've ever met me in real life, you know how quiet I am. Like, even if you've met me on, like, somewhere like Discord or something, and I had a voice chat, you'll know exactly how quiet I am. Like, it's no secret. And, like, I've had an interview before, like, a few times actually, for different types of benefits, and everyone says that I should get these benefits, and I'm probably not cut out for work. Like, it's a universal agreement. And what job opportunities there are, they've never mentioned. So as far as I know, there is no such thing as a job opportunity for me. And it's something that I wouldn't mind doing. I wouldn't mind trying to work once in my life. Ideally I would want a physical job where I can exercise and stuff, stay healthy, and also probably be outdoors sometimes. Like that wouldn't be bad. That's my ideal job, weirdly enough, even though I'm a musician and artist. Also, I'm pretty much a gamer as well. But there's things I'd rather be doing, weirdly enough. And if I had to do that just to get a very good income, like at the end of the day, like a double what I get, it'll be worth it. I'll be spending twice the time essentially that I'll be doing on like hobbies, but I'll be getting twice the money, and that'd be much better. And the problem is my medication sort of fucks me up, so it does complicate things in that sense. But yeah, and uh, yeah, this post I saw on such autism. There was a post showing how a teenager in the UK with autism is defending her rights to have benefits and everyone else's for that matter. Admittedly, I didn't read the article. Not really something I'm interested in. Can't read very well. I'll try to. I play games where there's a lot of reading. It's usually simple though. But a lot of the comments were just saying like, she's the reason why they want to take away benefits. It's like, no. That's really fucking ignorant and discriminatory. It's surprising because the subreddit rules say you're not allowed to be like uncivil and bigoted. So it's like, okay, so you're allowed to be discriminatory in a subreddit that disallows it. Okay, that's a double standard. But anyway, the various things that just pissed me off about that, and like the first comment was a genuine question. It was neutral. It wasn't making any claims here, essentially. I don't think it was anyway. Just saying, like, she already pays for fuel and I forgot what the other thing was. A fuel for a car and something else. I can't remember. The comment was basically questioning, what do you use the money for, essentially? If you're using the benefit money for that, what are you using the other money for? And I brought up the point that it's none of your business. Like, this is the other thing with money that's sort of hard to tackle. Some transparency is good, and I think if you can be transparent with it, you should. But I've never hidden the fact that I've bought a lot of VSDs and, well, sex toys. Like, it's no secret. It's something that I enjoy, I have a personal interest in. And nobody should really fucking get riled up about that. It's sort of a hyperfixation of mine as well, technically speaking. And that's why it's none of your business. Like, some people don't want to share that, but I don't care because I lost the will to live years ago. So whatever I do now, it's just like, okay, I'm along for the ride, but I ain't got the will to see his face. Like, I don't know, like, I don't have an ego. much as obvious and fat, as you can tell. Yeah, like it's none of your business, and also autism in her case, probably. Can't answer for her. It comes with a lot of caveats and problems like hyperfixations, OCD, anxiety disorders, and was another one. Depression, yeah, depression is another one, and that's a pretty important one too. Also, suicide rates are much higher in autistic people. This has been a proven fact. It's been studied, I think. It was on Autism UK, I think it was. There was a statistic that they had, and I think it was backed by a study. If not, then scrap it. But I do think it is generally true, though, that there is increased depression and suicide rates in autistic people, and this is because people like the people in these comment sections exist, and they're essentially trying to strip away rights for a minority, which again goes against the subreddit rules. So it's just, okay. It's just fucking weird. There's no words for it. The double standard as well, like, you can't be for suicide prevention, for example, and take away people's rights, being hateful, spiteful, condemning, whatever. You have no right to call yourself charitable, for that matter. It just doesn't exist. A good deed will be a good deed, but still, it's completely shadowed by the crap you put in the world, the hate you fill it with. Something I've realised over the years. I used to watch news. I did watch news actually. I also read like trending topics when I used to be on Facebook, and that pissed me off. But it often came up with very dystopian things that were being popularised, and it fucking sucked. It started getting me angry, and I stopped looking at it basically, and it did my mental health world of good, and it just stopped me from being as angry. I struggle with meltdowns as well, and that's the thing. Like, what some people don't say about their autism is it can be easy to get meltdowns and sensory overloads, and that can lead to breaking things or even outright panicking, like panic buying and stuff. It's crazy how vulnerable you can be with autism, and this is why some people call it a disability, a physical one for that matter. It's not too far off the mark because it's essentially the same as having some other disabilities like exist. Like, it's not similar to losing your leg. That's the wrong comparison. But if it's something like where you're hypersensitive, like for example, we can relate to probably deaf people or blind people more because we become more susceptible to those sort of sensory issues. So if like a blind person, the hearing becomes extra sharp, and we also experience that to an extent. It's not similar, too similar. I mean, it's similar but not too similar, because we can just hear things way too loudly than they actually are, and it can be a bit torturous at times. So that's why it's categorised as a disability rather than a mental health thing. I don't know what the proper terms are actually, technically speaking. And also, it's autism spectrum disorder, not just autism disability. Because everyone's different on the spectrum. I've met complete arseholes who are on the spectrum, but I've also met decent people. I've met plenty of idiots too. That's another sad thing, actually. Some of them seem very susceptible to like crazy rhetoric, like only stick with confident people, only stick with people who talk rather than quiet people. So not me. It's real shit. But you do meet some decent autistic people. And also a lot of LGBTQ plus people are autistic actually, fun fact, or neurodivergent. It's probably the better term actually. Yeah, the reason it's so bad to strip away benefits, well, just there's so much that goes into it, and you can't assume everyone's situation is the same. You know, not everyone's the same as me. I'm quiet. I keep to myself. I try to keep out of everyone's way, which is something that not many autistic people can do, even acknowledge. And the reason I think I deserve essentially disability benefits is because I'm unable to do everything that everyone else is. Like, I can't work, I'm not always good at cleaning myself, for example. I can't shower every day, I just don't like feeling of showers. I do take a bath every week, like twice or 3 times actually. Um, I could be bad with cleaning as well, like my room is always dusty and I just can't be bothered. I do get help with it, technically speaking, but it's not help that I'm getting at the moment for some reason. Um, I'm not good with managing money, that's always been a problem. I just panic buy and panic spend and stuff. It's not because I'm being scaremongered at all. It's a weird thing, it's just more like a situation that I'm in, a necessity, a predicament, whatever. There's always something that comes up though, like next it's going to be my computer, and I know it is because it's had its fair share of issues over the 3 years I've had it. And that costs quite a big portion of money. And I use my computer every day, and that's the thing as well. It's like these interests end up stacking up, and if you have like, depending on the interest, like how in depth it is, it can be more expensive because it's more feature complete in that sense. Like a computer could do all three things I'm interested in. It could game, it can do music, and it can help me make artwork. And that's why I feel entitled to the money. It does help me with my daily life. It gives me actual like dopamine. It's, I struggle with depression as well, and it's really helped me. It's my audio cable. Like all the equipment I have to get for this, for all this to work, it adds up. And art is by far the cheapest thing. And weirdly enough, it's not even that expensive if you do it like physically. And I have thought about doing that, but like because it's so cheap to get it for just drawing and stuff on the computer, it's not a bad option. And you have so many more options on the computer that you don't have with physical art. In physical art, you have no room for mistakes, but in digital art, you can cleanly erase something and redo it. Music's a similar thing actually. If you stick to real life, you don't really have the chance to edit it or find your mistakes or anything. You can't EQ anything, for example. And VST is not widely available anyway. It's like a physical instrument. But on the computer, you can undo stuff, you can make sections, you can do a bunch of different changes. You could probably even do pretty good like math rock with a guitar and a bass and a cheap drum kit. But it still adds up because you need tones, you need strings, you need picks, for example. Picks aren't that expensive though. So I think audio setup can be expensive, like the sound interface, the ones I want anyway. There are no delay apparently. £1,000. It's fucking ridiculous, but yeah. One of the things I brought up in the video I didn't actually release was essentially if they're going to replace like PIP or disability allowance or whatever, they need to put something else there. They need to give job support then. Because you're asking people who we're assuming are not special needs. I am actually special needs with learning difficulties, but not so severe that it makes me unable to learn completely. Hence why I have so many hobbies and interests. I apparently have above average intelligence, but I'm not sure about that, especially given my recent mental health issues. Yeah, like for most people, I think, there needs to be like job help instead. So if you're removing disability allowance, allow for like a disability job help. So you do interviews, you like ask about various equipments and like ways to get around it and stuff. Like you essentially invest in a career, go all in. You find a college course or something or online course that you follow. Like say I want to learn cooking, which is something I actually do want to learn. I want to have the equipment to do it at home. I want to learn it online, probably. Probably read books as well. I set a set amount of time each day to learn it, to work towards cooking. And even though it couldn't be a career I can do from home, it'll help in the real world anyway. It can make people genuinely happy, and I am essentially contributing in that sense. But with like music and stuff, that's something that I'd like help with. So I can probably make a career. Like one of my dreams is being a soundtrack composer for a game. And it's something that I think I would enjoy doing, especially given my knowledge of digital audio workstations and even like stems, like layering and stuff. It'll be something very interesting to work on. I did offer a role once, but I didn't accept it because I wasn't confident in it. But now I sort of feel confident that I can do it. It required me to make a new instrument template and stuff and do things from scratch essentially. I wouldn't mind it. It's mainly because I'm excited about the fact that I can write music. Something that I have enjoyed doing recently. And the funding comes into that when you consider all the equipment. Yeah, I've talked about this enough anyway. What was one of the other comments? I saw 3 comments. The first one I already responded to. Yeah, it's just the bigotry, the 2 comments, but there was a reply to one that I thought was interesting, and it was basically explaining, it's agreeing sort of to the original comment, but saying that we should be funding things that would help us essentially. So like something like sensory issues where you need noise cancelling headphones for audio. Probably a sensory room if you have light issues. Something where you can adjust it. I already sort of have that with LEDs and stuff everywhere, and on a schedule, on an app. It's pretty cool. I've had a lot of comments about that actually with people who visited me. I think what else is food. Oh, that's a big one actually. You know, I'm vegan and I do struggle sometimes with taste and texture. It's quite rare, luckily. But I know other people have it worse, and I think there needs to be options to like not only comply with like ethical beliefs, like if someone's vegan or for some reason they can't be vegan but want to, you need to be able to fund something like lab grown meat and have that as a staple for like every other day or something like that. But the point of the funding they said anyway was like noise cancelling headphones is one of the things they can suggest. And I think we still need funding for like something like menstrual periods and stuff. Not just inherent things that people can't actually control. Like even across the world, like for fuck's sake, breast cancer. Like holy shit, we need to fund like treatments for that and stuff. It's very important. And the problem is that nobody really seems to give a fuck about the details, and that's one of the problems here. I'm commonly seeing that, weirdly enough, a subreddit called UK Politics, it doesn't discuss the issues in detail like it should, and you have no authority to talk on people's behalf. You know, only once you've understood something can you actually speak on its behalf. I'm pretty confident I know what the autism spectrum is, I know what traits that go into it. There's even simplified images of it, like each level and stuff exist, and it's something that people have to acknowledge. They can't just dismiss it as just wanting more money. That's not the point. It's about a lifestyle and trying to get the best out of life when you're struggling, especially. In my case, also, I'm pretty sure I've got like neurological issues. Like, I drop things easily, I get handshakes. Like, for some reason, like, one of the weirdest things earlier. I was playing Final Fantasy 14, going through a high level dungeon, level 80 actually, is versus Emmet. Not Emmet, no, that's Trial. Is it Trial? I can't remember. But I was facing against the boss of his final one. It's in space and it shoots a laser and stuff. It breaks platforms. But during that, I was having the worst fucking hunger that I've ever experienced. It was so bizarre. It wasn't like pain. It was discomfort. I was tired. I was sleepy. It was like, and I felt starving. Even though my lunch was pretty much massive. It's so bizarre, and I don't know what that is. I think it might be a new medical issue. I could be wrong. I've never had that before. Even though I overeat for lunch. Like, it's nuts. I wasn't late for dinner either. That's the weird thing about that. And again, I did eat lunch early. That might be it, actually. Dismiss that. Uh, yeah, like random things anyway can just come up. You know, I got a cut on my leg last Monday, actually. Fucking thing made me bleed quite. It didn't make me bleed quite a bit. It just bled me a bit, but it was deep enough that it's still healing at this moment. Like, that requires medical costs, like bandages and stuff. It's like, and I'm not susceptible to this thing because if I'm overwhelmed or having a meltdown, I won't care. I'll just let myself die. That's what would happen in that sort of situation, and it's dangerous. You know, as the quality of life goes down, so too does your will to live, and that's one of the things that's especially true for minorities. And that's why this is a genocide in a sense. It's the start of it. It's why it's a bad thing. So yeah, thanks for listening, and hopefully people understand what I'm coming from with this. But I do live off essentially money that the government pays me. It's no secret. I don't get ad monetization. I have donations, but I don't force people or even. I can't force anyone there. It's the internet. It's it's just there as an option. Just if you like the content, if you like me as a person or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'd appreciate money whenever I can get it. I just wouldn't exploit anyone for it. I wouldn't do anything bad for it. The money would just helps with everything in my daily situation. I have to buy my own vegan milk alternative, for example, online because shops don't really sell it. Even then, for like a weekly shop, it still costs a lot of money. And I actually forgot to take that into account when I made my comment. It's more like £45 at most per week. It's fucking nuts. But it's not something I can easily afford. It's not a matter of like cutting down and like eliminating things. It's harder to do that when you're autistic, and again, like, there's so many details. Again, I bring this up, and it's so important to drill this into people's heads. Autistic people have more addictive personalities. I've fucking known people who've had gone through drug addiction, alcohol addiction, smoke addiction, I think as well. Like, the amount of people who are not only autistic but special needs that do go through that is insane. And addictive personalities are probably more common in people with, again, like neurodivergency and even like whatever you consider special needs or learning difficulties as, it's definitely more common. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's something that you have to keep in this sort of discussion about where you put the money. You could be funding addictive behaviours for, but again, you need to be addressing the source, not where the fucking, how they get it exactly. I said this with true suicide prevention, which is a term I've coined because so many suicide prevention charities and even talks just fail to hit the mark. They fail to address what's actually true. I didn't commit suicide, I've attempted it, sort of, and been through dark places and stuff. Really, the true thing that helps with that is addressing the source, but because nobody actually addressed it, I've lost the will to live, and I'm actually kind of nuts anyway. So, at the moment, I'm just in my nuts phase until I burn out and die, essentially. But at the same time, I'm not going to let other people suffer the way I have, and that's why I bring up true suicide prevention. The only way to address it is at the source again. If people are suicidal because of autism and how people treat that, again, that's something that needs to be addressed. It's not the autism, it's the autism, but it's not suicidal thoughts. I think too many people focus on what's in front of them rather than what's behind that thing, if that makes any sense. There's a mask always where someone's feeling suicidal at the front, crying, who knows, like bloodied, whatever. Behind it, there's a story. There's a book to be read, and there's a lot of things to understand about that. It's one of the most, I think, literal ways I can put that. Because it's very much how the world works. And there are definitely situations where that may not be the case, but in my experience of speaking to depressed and suicidal people, that's always been the case. There's been a source, there's been different things, and even like in my case where it's genetic to an extent, but it's worsened by other factors, hence my autism and stuff. There's nothing more to it sometimes, and it's not simple, but it's something that people should learn. Yeah, I think I've spoken about this enough. I'm tired. I need to get on with stuff. I need to brush my teeth, go to bed. Yeah, thanks for listening. See everyone another time.